So in dreams and in the literature, we find then that you have this sun, which is doesn't get hot or cold, and which is would then be the source of that world. Just like we have our sun as the source of our world, which would then be the middle world. In, for instance, in the Lord of the Rings, and then the underworld would be in the Lord of the Rings. Other these other beings that we look like, like demons, and you see. So then, what these all of these movies, what the movie Frozen is showing us is that um, a part of this world is falling under the influence of this frozen parallel world, and that coldness is coming into our world. So we are at the point of witnessing that these two worlds that are actually parallel worlds, and that now science is busy verifying this, are entering our world, you know. So this is a very difficult time for a lot of people, because what always used to be like a world we spoke about and that was veiled to the five senses, which would then be the spiritual, the higher and the lower spiritual, but in modern terms would be the two parallel worlds. That veil is being removed. So these beings, this is why we see that in the whole world that the amount of UFOs that are being witnessed is incredible. And also in Mexico, they're witnessing that out of these lights are coming what they call fallen angels. The separation between the dimension, the two dimensions, and our middle world is being removed, because the lower timeline is falling so drastically in frequency that it's interfacing with the lower one, which are these fallen angels. And then the higher one is interfacing with the higher world, which are the non-fallen angels. And then, if you wish, the cubes, the black cube, which is represented as the Kaaba. But we also saw it, for instance, in the funeral of Mandela. He was buried in this Kaaba, which we know is a kind of a reference to Saturn and the anti-clock spin hexagon that spins in one of the poles of Saturn. Well, that's the cube, and we know that anti-clockwise spin is what takes the energy down in frequency into that frozen world of the absence of the light, the great light. And then we know that the cube at the upper level is then what is called the New Jerusalem, which is if you wish, the city at the higher frequencies, where energy is back in its, where the light is no more caught in that prism in which it is split into shadow and bright. So there you have the sun, the light that we find in the upper cube, which is just in space time at a higher frequency, does not break in shadow and in bright. So there the light does not cast a shadow, and this is why the sun there doesn't go up or down. It's always shining, but it's never cold or hot, meaning there is no the sun does not enter that prism which splits the light, which is what we see here. So what is really happening now is that these two parallel worlds seem to have entered our dimension, and this is why I started with the speech of Al Pacino, in which he says that we can stay here and get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the lights. We can climb out of hell. And after that, he has a sentence in which he says that he cannot even look in at his face in the mirror anymore. This is all like very symbolic and symptomatic of what happens when we fall in these frequencies. Everybody is seeing, realizing that things are like going upside down. Um, a while back wrote a piece about how you would parents that smoke would tell their children not to smoke, or nuclear nations would attack other nations for wanting to have nuclear weapons. It's a complete, which would be the inverse of lead by example. So what we're witnessing in this world is indeed that the world is turning topsy-turvy or upside down, which means that we are going down to the lower dimension, or entering that parallel world where there is no light, where everything is frozen. And this is why in the movie Frozen you see that when they go at the point of reaching to that North Pole, that frozen place where the queen lives, this ice queen, they meet with this snow doll, and then the head falls off, which is the dismemberment, which is the opposite of remembering, which takes us up. And then the head falls, and then the world turns upside down in that scene.
I bet she's the nicest person ever.
Huh?
Am I right? Hi.
You're creepy.
Whoa!
I don't want it.
Whoa, back at you.
Ew, the body.
Hi, everyone. I'm Olaf.
Did Elsa build you?
Yeah, why?
We need Elsa to bring back summer.
Olaf!
Now I'm perfect.
That means that we are entering the other dimension, where there is no more light, and where everything is frozen, dead frozen. And that ice is an archetype, is a symbol of another dimension, because in that ice things don't decay, they are preserved forever, but they're dead. And in our dimension things rot. You see, and a lot of the food is becoming food that doesn't even decay anymore. So there is a very huge part of this dimension that we are in that is going into the lower dimension. And you see that with the robots, and that people are becoming very robotic and losing feeling. That's the heart, and the heart is the self with the capital S. And then to go up to the higher, to get the upgrade to the higher world, you need to have the self. And the self is really what the Bible speaks of the names in the book of life. So to enter that dimension, you need to have found your name in the book of life, which should then be like the password to get to the other side. And these two sides are, the one looks a lot like the other, and it's trying to look a lot like the other. So it is a very big deception that is upon us, because what is being reported as aliens and what have you, which are, it seems that it's now almost been disclosed that a lot of governments have been working with these aliens, are actually interdimensional beings from the lower parallel world. And they are going to fool people that they are aliens coming from other universes with extremely advanced technology. And in the movie Prometheus, we also know that they're going to try to fool the human being that we are genetical engineered products of their technology. But we are children of God. At the center, you need to see this: the two parallel worlds and the stairway. You need to see it as actually like an onion. And the one that is going back to heaven is at the center of the onion, and the one that is at the outskirts, the one going down, is at the outskirts of the onion, going ever further away from the core. which is what outer space means in these science fiction movies. The earth would be like the body, and the going out of body would be like going into outer space. And then the way that happens is by the decapitation, dismemberment, by cutting off the shadow. We are raptured into outer space, meaning into the lower levels of the stairway, to the point where we will be trapped there, because if you fall into that state of frozen, which is a hibernation state, then it's almost like 90% of your consciousness is frozen or not anymore here. And then the whole idea of the whole image of the zombies and the robots, you will lose your soul. The soul would be then our connection to the great light, so that's a little bit what's and I think what I do want to share is that the two parallel worlds are interfacing with us. So we are going to see ever more the two worlds entering this world, and it's going to be a very difficult time, because we see it already with the weather. We've been told that we were going into a global warming, and it's the exact opposite, because we are going more and more into that anti-clockwork spin of energy, which is really connecting us to Saturn. See the world, we used to think that the world is flat and then it's round, and it's not round even. What we are in is a kind of a frequency. So it all seems that what we would call outer space is really the lower frequencies, and that deeper into the onion, you would get, one would almost say, like deeper into the earth. And so the world is round is not a vibrational or energetic view of things. It's still a Newtonian view, that you have planets and you have the earth. It's really a completely obsolete view. The informational view is based on frequencies.
And parallel dimensions.
Yes, and parallel dimensions.
Yeah.
And so the parallel dimension is, we are in between two parallel worlds. And these two worlds will interface if the two timelines on our planet move high in frequency and low in frequency. That's the energetic picture. It's not, and that's why it's a deception to say that there's this outer life out there, and that you have these extraterrestrials and they're coming here from other solar systems and all of that. That's a Newtonian view, and it's a lie. What is coming in are interdimensional beings from a lower frequency on the one hand, and from a higher frequency on the other hand, because what we call heaven is also coming in now.